For as long as I can remember, on both my Instagram and my YouTube videos, the question I get asked most is how do you edit your photos? Over the last few years, I've honed my editing process and created a series of presets which get me the result I'm after, whether I'm using a Canon, Fuji, Sony, or whatever. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll recognize the color palette and style of these presets that I'm about to show you. Now, these presets aren't designed to emulate a particular film, but they are inspired by some of my favorite camera films. I'm really excited about putting this pack out there and seeing what you do with them with your photos. So let's dive into Lightroom and I'll show you exactly how I edit my photos with these presets. Okay, so here we are in Lightroom Classic. This is the program I use to edit my photos, but you can use these presets in Photoshop, also in old Lightroom versions. I've included the old file type, and I've also included profiles. Now, the first preset in the pack is Ps0. This is a really subtle, natural and balanced preset with a little bit of contrast, but keeping the colors true to life with only a few color tweaks here and there. So if we look at this photo here, and I apply the Ps0 Rise preset, it just gives it a little bit of lift without kind of really manipulating the color very much. I'm just going to lift up the exposure a little bit. So there's just a little area down here that I want to lift up. So I put a little brush stroke on there, raise the exposure a little bit there, and I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to call that done. Now, for each preset I've included a less version and a more version, so you can dial in the perfect amount of the preset for you. But also I've included an only contrast version, so that just brings in the contrast from the preset, so that if you don't want to have the color tweaks, or if you want to do your own kind of color tweaks but you really like the contrast that I've included in that preset, you can just put that straight on your photo and start from there. So moving on, we have the Ps1 preset. So I'm just going to apply that to this photo here. And as you can see, it has a lot more punch, a lot more contrast to it. It's a vibrant and a warm preset. What I'm going to do is lower the highlights a little bit, and I'm just going to add a little bit of warmth to the temperature. And as you can see, that's already bringing the colors out beautifully in this image. One of the areas that I give the most attention when I've been developing these presets is in the greens and the blues. And this preset here and this photo shows exactly why. I think it really brings a kind of a vibrance, but also kind of a coolness as well to the greens that I really like. And let me just show you how this works on skin tones as well. This is a street portrait I've taken. You might recognize this from one of my older videos. If I apply the Ps1 standard, there's also, of course, the less and the more version, but I'm just going to go for the standard Ps1 look, and already I really like how that comes across. Compositionally wise, there's a little bit too much sort of lightness around here. I'm just going to put a little bit of a vignette on. I think that's enough. And already, as it stands, I'm really happy with how that photo came out. So I'm going to leave that one as it is. Ps1 is one of the stronger looks in the collection, and it's one of my absolute favorites. It keeps the colors punchy and warm with a nice bit of contrast dialed in as well. Moving on, we have the Ps2 Dawn preset. Now, I love using this preset on blues and reds. It really sort of has a beautiful color treatment, and this photo is going to show it off really nicely. If you take a look at the sky here, it's got that kind of purple twinge. If I want to bring more of that kind of sunny day look, that kind of sun-kissed warm look, I'm going to go for the Ps2 Dawn. So if I apply that preset now, you can see that it makes those blues absolutely beautiful. It also lifts out the oranges and reds in this photo. And just applying that preset, I'm really happy with how that is. Just to have a look, we have the less and the more version. I actually think that the more version fits this photo beautifully. So I'm going to go with that one. It just brings out what's already there, and it's not really kind of distorting the colors or distorting the contrast too much. It still looks pretty natural to me. Now with this photo, again, we've got blue sky here, and this is going to show PS2 Dawn off really, really nicely. I'm going to go straight in with the More one because I really, really like the effect on the blues in this photo. So let's apply that now, and you can see that just lifts that photo beautifully. I don't think I really need to do much more with that. If we go back to how it looked before, you know, it just stands out so much more when I've added this preset on here. And I think PS2 Dawn is such a good preset if it's been a beautiful day, if you've got blue skies and you want to get those warmer tones in. I always gravitate towards this preset. Now the next preset in the pack is Ps3 Burnt. Now this is one of the presets I gravitate towards the most, and I love this, especially with skin tones. I use this pretty much whenever I'm editing portraits. I'm using this preset. It's muted, it's moody, and it brings in the kind of cooler tones, the shadows, and the subtle formality I think makes it beautiful and perfectly suited for portraits, whether you're kind of in the street or in the studio. So let's take this photo for example. This is a street portrait, and already you can see that temperature-wise it was kind of quite a cool light on here. Now this is the raw photo. If I apply the Ps3 Burnt preset, you can see it lifts up and warms up those skin tones a little bit, and you can see the shadows in the hair and around here. It really gives it that lovely kind of dark blue. I consider that kind of formality. I think for this photo I'm just going to warm up the temperature slightly, and as you can see the colors are popping, but it still has that kind of cool muted look, and I absolutely love the look of this. This is more of a kind of studio type portrait. This is the raw. If I add the Ps3 Burnt, you can see there, you know, it's done beautiful things. So the blues in his jacket, and also the shadows around the hair and around the face. And I think the way skin tones performs with this preset is really, really beautiful. Already, just by applying that preset, you can see that it's given that photo a real character. Now the fifth preset in this pack is Ps4 Dusk. Now I absolutely love this preset. It's kind of cinematic, it's got a real atmospheric feel to it, and with its treatment of the shadows, this preset really looks amazing when the sun goes down. Now let's take this photo. This was taken with the Fujifilm camera Piccadilly Circus, and if I apply Ps4 Dusk, you can see what it does to the shadows, you can see what it does to the colors. It instantly gives this photo a real character, and I think it kind of completes the image. Now this preset really shines with artificial lighting and strong shadows, but you can use this also if there's a bit more sort of natural light. So let's take this photo for example. If I add the preset, you can see it just kind of gives that whole cinematic character to that photo. And if I go down and put Ps4 More, even that, I don't think it's too strong a look. I think that color treatment and what it's done with the shadows is really beautiful. Now with this photo as well, you can see that there are warmer colors and long shadows as the sun's starting to go down. And if I add the Ps4 Dusk preset, it just gives a whole new feel to that photo. I really love how this preset deals with shadows and deals with this kind of light. The preset collection is available right now at the link below, and I can't wait to put them out there and see what you do with them with your photos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.